Kim said, let's go. And
hello, world. Well, I just see the thing going around and around and around.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Kim and Connor here at Big Red SEO over here in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Connor, how are you?
I'm good.
As a programmer, he's like, I'm good, but I don't know. Am I good? Am I good? Yes, am I good?
You know, I didn't get to do a banner at the opening. We didn't have. I've got it recording on the back end. I've got Facebook's producer thing going on.
I have moved Connor's cheese, y'all, and here is the reason why. Right? Let's just jump in, right? Because the thought process is, I wanted today to be kind of like one of the old school chats that we used to have way back when we first started the weekly Facebook Live, right? So what that means is it's a little bit less structure. It's a more ebb and flow conversation, right? But it's important to do this because a lot of people's cheese is getting moved right now. And I don't have rights and trademarks to a book or a title. I feel like somebody actually created that.
There is a book.
And it is actually a really good book. There's a book for not just life, but there's also a book for managers and a bunch of other things. It's a really good book.
Yeah, the series on it, it's called Who Moved My Cheese?
Yeah.
Well worth a read.
Yeah, but the thought process is I wanted to shake it up, one, because guys, we're thick in projects right now. Like, we have been blessed in building this business where we already had our pipeline filled. We've got more prospects coming in. And so I wanted to straight shoot and say, I understand that this is a sensitive topic. So I'm not trying to say that one person is not experiencing the change in adapting into our world right now and one is not. What I'm here to say is that our zone of genius is helping people kind of figure out what is their clarity, like how can they step forward as a business, creating a website design that can scale with that business. So if they start with a small mom and shop idea, right, they can work with that, or they can go big, or they can build as they go. Like we've shared before that we give the keys to the castle of every project to our business owners as well as marketers. That's important. So in case they want to update something, they can. We're always here to update for them. But the reason why I wanted to bring this episode to you guys is, one, thank you so much for following us. And I did not tune in this week because we have been working on amazing stuff and helping people shift as quick as possible, right? Like, a lot of businesses went from being a brick and mortar to we have to shut our doors. How do we survive? So helping them go virtual, helping them figure out how do they step in front of their clients and still be present, right? In addition to all the other cool designs we have that are going to be launching, and not only today, tomorrow, all the way through next week. Yep. And then so that's kind of it. So
it's been an interesting week, as Kim mentioned, with the different businesses closing public access walking in. We've been fielding a lot of phone calls for how can I do this virtually? How can I get just a basic online shop, get that at least something going, or how can I just get some information on there? So it's been interesting working on that and doing those quick turns. Let's make sure this gets done. Let's modify this page and even people that updating the hours on your website or putting a notice on your website. A lot of people weren't doing that themselves. They had an agency that was doing it for them, and now the agency is closed because nobody's going to work.
The sad part of all the rumblings is watching freelancers disappear. Like, we know in our heart, like, that sucks when that happens. I don't even want to say it's part of the culture. It's not cool that it happens, right? But from the other aspect from us, it's pretty cool being able to help somebody be in the world of panic of where's my business, where's my website, who has my web hosting, all of a sudden my developer went MIA, how do I get that? And us being able to have the skill to be able to put that control back into the business owner's hand, right? Really quick and really fast. And it's not just businesses that are stepping forward, right? So like, we have people that are wanting to start blog writing, but they don't want to not own their content. So creating small little blog websites, right? 1 to 2 page websites where they can actually voice how they help or what they're helping with. Or maybe they don't need a shopping cart right now because they're just starting and they have one product. Being able to show them how to kind of like less hijack, but that's kind of it, kind of like duct tape into where their budget is and being able to get their stuff out there to be like, hey, I have this and I can sell and I can help and here's what I do, if that makes sense.
If you're selling online, not everybody needs an online store.
Absolutely.
If you've only got 1 or 2 products, just put them on the pages with links there, either integrated with PayPal or Stripe or whatever credit card gateway. And then you're off and running.
Or you can integrate with payment, right? Or you can just have them call you, maybe mail a check. I don't know. I heard the post office box is like delivering less and less in days.
Sure.
So you might not want a check per se. However, the cool part about it is there is options, right? There's options for you. So if you've ever thought of or considered like wanting to build something, now is the time to do it. Oh gosh, she's moving the whole environment.
So I noticed when I moved my hand here, the camera was shaking too, and it turned out that the table was up against the camera. I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But the thing is like now is the time more than ever, right? Because like the thing is everybody's taking a deep breath. Some people are glitching and like not taking movement. Other people are launching forward and saying, okay, when we are done with whatever we're done with, which I don't know if we'll ever be done, I feel like our whole entire world is going to be changed. It's changed right now, right? I think business is going to look different. I was running errands yesterday and I had to stop by the grocery store, and their new hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I know that they're doing that because they're offering shopping different for those that are in the medical field or first response as well as senior citizens. But, you know, I picked up the phone and I called Connor. I was like, hey, what are the chances that this actually changes and maybe grocery stores are only open 10 hours in a 24-hour time span? What does that look like for a business? What does that look like as a culture? Because way back in the history, right, guys, like in the past of the way back, stores were only open for a certain percentage of the time within the day, and that was it. Or like now you can only buy one loaf of bread at a time, or they recommend that. Well, way back in the day, they used to actually walk to go get their bread every single day, so it was fresh.
Well, you say way back in the day. It could just be 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, you know, for me, you know, back 30 years ago, most of the stores that I was around, they weren't 24 hours.
Right.
You know, they would close at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And then you had your corner grocer and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, it's kind of like breakfast all day, you know. It didn't used to be that way.
So the thought process, right? So let's dive in. So the thought process is if you wanted to start a business, where is it that you need to go? Like we realize we've talked about this in different videos here and there, but it's important for you guys to know, right? So
Casey is on.
Hey, Casey.
She just said, I remember when stores being closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually here in Nebraska, auto dealers are closed on Sundays. But if you go across the river to Iowa, they're open on Sundays. I don't know what weird rule is actually in place, but Sundays here they close up the car lots. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the thought process, if you want to build if you want to build a business, right? You more likely, we're not legal people. We recommend you getting the actual business registered. Right? However, we can't tell you what to do there, right? But what you do need to do is you need to establish a website domain name. Then you need to establish web hosting and or find a web developer that can establish the web hosting for you. And then you start building the design. We do not recommend a lot of the cookie cutter site builders out there because they're not always SEO friendly. However, if you followed us for a long time, we'll tell you this. Sometimes you have to get it out there quick and dirty, and sometimes SEO is not in the first immediate area of an action plan regarding whatever your marketing is or whatever your business building is, right? So if you have a product, you know people want to buy it, you might do a site builder just to be able to get it up and get it live and get it out there, start cranking through and building business and having business come through. Then maybe SEO comes down the pipeline.
And then redesign everything.
And or there could be different ways that you can kind of hijack that system, right? And we have previous videos that you can go watch in Facebook Lives to learn all about that, right? But the thought process is, I want to say whether you have a business or you're getting ready to launch a business, here is one thing not to do, right? And I say this with love, kindness, and grace. Don't stop, right? There's so many people that are just like stopping and halting. They're stopping their business. They're going in and watching Netflix. Not that there's anything wrong with Netflix, right? They're going into fear and anxiety. We actually had a really great conversation with a new website design that we're going to be doing with an existing client. And his industry, they're like stopping, but he's like, no, let's go forward, right? So like now is the perfect time to not wait. You had said something like a couple days mixed bag where there's so many people pulling back the reins and not taking action that if you actually stepped up your game in SEO or stepped up your game in content creation, now's whenever you're going to fly forward and catapult forward ahead on the rankings, and everybody else is going to be behind the 8 ball.
So with this particular client, the advantage for him, so he works in the manufacturing industry that, different businesses were contacting him. So he's mainly a business to business or commercial to commercial operation. So for the last couple of weeks, orders have been slowing down coming in, and staff is kind of being reduced with the stuff that he's doing. But it's not like in 2 months or 3 months or whenever it happens to be that those orders are not going to return.
Right.
Because those other companies, once they start their operations again, they have to order his stuff. So his attitude is, now that nobody's looking at his website right at this time, and he has time to go in there, play with content, play with images, get the stuff the way that he wanted 3-4 years ago, the way he actually wanted it. Now is the time to actually get that done. Launch that the next 3-4 weeks, and then he's up and running and ready for the next order that comes in. So there's a huge advantage right now with businesses that are slowing down in terms of the orders coming in and stuff like that. It gives you more time to work on your site. Now, whether that means that you are paying somebody else to design your site for you or rebuild an entire site, or taking that time to revise the content within the website, stuff that you guys can do internally. Check your content, make sure the links are all working in your site, get rid of that stupid image that's been annoying you, but you didn't have any time to actually change it. Now is those times to actually change that up.
I actually love that you say that, because we have always talked about either you have time, you have money, or you have the knowledge and the resources, right? Sometimes Conor's philosophy has always been sometimes you don't have all three at once. Sometimes you do, and it's a magic cosmic thing that happens. However, a lot of people have time on their hands right now, right? So like when you go, like say that you decide that you want to up your content and you want to revise the content on your existing website, but then also you have time on your hands. So why not kick out 1 blog article, 2 blog articles within a day? You don't have to publish all of those on your website right now. You can actually have them and trickle them through. Maybe you've never had a newsletter before and you want to go and learn how to use MailChimp or Constant Contact and design a newsletter for people. I would recommend, we had talked about this and we were like, oh man, I don't know. I would recommend if you send a newsletter out, don't talk about what's happening right now. I get that a lot of people are, but I cannot tell you.
We're talking about it on video right now.
But we haven't said it out loud, right? We haven't said the name. So the thought process is try not to put it into the title of whatever email that you're sending. I get so many of those in my inbox every single day that I actually don't even open them anymore. So if that whole thing that's going on is in the subject of the newsletter, I just click delete and I don't even open it.
I went one step further. So my mail is actually set up with a filter that if the name is mentioned in it, the mail automatically goes into a separate folder. Unless it came through our contact form or things like that, or if it's a previous client, then those all get filtered differently. But anytime something is mentioned about it, I dump it.
Yeah. And here's the deal as well, right? So like if you are selling a product or selling a service, don't not sell. So there is like this thing going on where people are like, well, our world's kind of in this unknown right now. And a lot of people are like, they're being impacted. Everybody's being impacted, but one may be a little bit more impacted than another based on a perception or what they're seeing. Again, sensitive subject. We're not here to say right, wrong, more intense, less intense, right? But what I can tell you is there's people out there still investing and buying, right? So like, don't not sell your product, don't not sell your service, but do tune into the intuition of the mind and the heart being aligned to say, is now the right time, or what language do I need to speak for my ideal client, right? Rabbit ears, my ideal client. You're not going to match everybody. You're not going to appease everybody, nor do you want to, right? Like there's, whether you're selling something that's a couple dollars or you're selling something that's got many zeros behind it, you don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Jack, someone, anyone, could be anyone. You want your ideal client, right? So really step forward and speak to that specific ideal client in whatever you do. I think right now also it's really important to get on video, but be intentional about video. So like last week, maybe it was a week before, like all of a sudden everybody like started to erupt into video, and my Facebook was filled with so many videos. And at first I was like, yay, how exciting, all this just different change. And I'm a pretty sensitive being, right? I'm highly sensitive. But then all of a sudden within less than 24 to 48 hours, it was too much video. It was too much things. Too many things were being offered for me specifically. Too many things, too many free things. It was just every which way. And you could actually feel the energy if people didn't move right then or right there. Like if they didn't do it right then, they were going to miss out. So there was like this fear of missing out energetics behind it as well. I would say take a step back, to take a deep breath and say, what is the overall intention? And guys, we've always talked about this before. How do you stay consistent with it? So right now there's all this different change and everybody's changing and evolving. But what is it going to look like in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, right? Because you don't want to be that go and explode everything and do all this stuff and then you disappear.
And you'd mentioned the word free in the middle of that, and that we've talked about this at length. Just with the number of businesses that are now offering things for free or removing things that might have been paid, and now you get it for 2-3 months that is free. I think it's awesome that they're doing stuff like that. Whether they're doing that and they can retain the customer almost as a loss leader, being able to write some of it off for marketing end of things on taxes, being able to run that as a loss leader, and how that's going to affect in the future. I read an article there. It was talking about the airlines, that the airlines are no longer serving drinks and they're no longer doing the snacks and things like that on the airlines. They're saying it's a way of stopping that interaction between the airline people and the individual flying. But what's to say in 6 months that does not come back? We saw way back when with the 9/11 and stuff like that, there were security things that were put in place that now have become everyday acceptance. So you adjust for a short period of time. Oh, it's not going to last. And then all of a sudden your entire way of life has changed. And I think this is something also that can be embraced. We're not saying that certainly if you have products and stuff like that, my own personal advice, don't just start giving it away for free because everyone else is giving it away for free. It devalues the product of what it is. We had talked about and we did a video probably a year ago, and I've actually got some people online here that I used to work with way back in the day, but I used to work at a water park, and for a period of time the owner decided that everybody who was local were going to give them half price, and it was a special that ran for the entire year. Well, the next year when the locals started coming back to the door, they wanted their half price discount, which had returned back to normal. They then boycotted the location so that nobody was coming to the water park. None of the locals. Business went down, and by the end of summer, guess what? The local promotion was back at half price, and it was like that for 3 or 4 years afterwards.
So in theory, they basically pigeonholed themselves into that free or that discount. So here's the deal is, and I don't have to dive into it right now, but a lot of you guys know I also do coaching and mentoring, right? On a personal, not just business. There's a give and take. There's a giving and a receiving when it comes to investing in anything. So whether it's a service, a product, your time, your presence, your energy. And so whenever we give free, it's absolutely okay to give free. If you're getting the hit to give free and it feels clean and clear, do it. Like we give this episode free for the community. We tune in for you guys, right? But there's a thing where you can overgive. And when you overgive, you're not actually giving and receiving the energetics back behind it. But then in addition to it, you're actually not stepping in or standing in the value of what you're offering, right? So if you have a service that's valued, your time and energy is valued at $300 and you give that for free, what can happen is not only do you not receive back what your skills are offering, but then the other person on the other side, since it's free, they might never do it. They might never take action on it. They might kind of halfway check in, halfway check out. You guys probably know yourself. Yeah, sometimes when you do free stuff, you're all about it. But other times free stuff can be like, okay, yeah, I'll go sign up for that course. It's free. Okay. And then I'll do it. And then it never happens, right? There's never action that happens behind it. There's a difference between a trial, and there's also a difference between giving something a percentage off for a limited time, right? Again, you guys need to make the decision. But what I can tell you is the clients and the projects and the prospects that we're talking to and working with, they're not giving everything for free. That's classified as an archetype as the starving artist or the starving creative. You're not here to do that. You're here to build something, figure out what is the value, what number are you hearing, what makes you feel good when you say, I have this product and service for sale, this is the investment, this is the cost. Now you have to work in your own human against hearing people say no, and they're like, I'm not going to do that, I can't afford that. A lot of times, again, taking this situation that we're in off the panel, just talking in general terms right now, if somebody says they can't afford it, it's not to do with what your product is worth or the value. It has to do with their story. It has to do with their stuff that they have running. Maybe they don't know how to run a budget. Maybe they don't know how to have money. Maybe they say they don't have money, but then they're going off and buying a brand new handbag of something else, or shoes, or a car, or you don't know, right? So it's really important for you to have your confidence, your soul esteem, especially no matter what product or service that you're offering, be on point. So when somebody says, no, I can't afford that, or why are you charging that? You don't have to fight the battle to explain yourself. You know your value, you know what you're doing, you know how you're stepping forward, and you're going to do it damn well. So go ahead and do it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Did I just take it to Kim's church?
You did. So there's something that I want to say, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So with that,
so if you want to know what it was, I was
no, just go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
No,
yeah, okay.
I don't want to bring down this video.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If anybody has any questions or anybody needs any guidance on mentoringship, feel free to go ahead and put it in the comments right now while we're live. Mm-hmm. We can kind of open it as a Q&A. Thank you everybody that's tuning in so far. Love it.
It's great
everybody.
To see the number of the number of Facebook lives, the people who've tuned in has increased.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's because people are not doing anything, or if they've become more inquisitive as to what it is we're doing, or they now have that free time available to jump into that chat with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm watching the chart thing go up and down here, and our stream metrics and so forth. So, but yeah, there you go.
So if you have any questions, feel free to ping it in. We'll give it another minute or two and answer anything on the fly. Let's see, anything else? A lot of brick and mortars are definitely going virtual. That's pretty cool, watching people not only not know any of the technology, they're like, oh gosh, if we go virtual and we have to do video meetings, how do we do that? Like there's Zoom, there's multiple different options that you can have, right? Mm-hmm. And then trying to figure out the structure behind that. What I've seen happen, which is super cool, is watching the yoga studios all go virtual, which is super cool because then people can tune in from their own home, right? It's one of those, they're in lockdown in the specific areas or being told they can't do it, but it's pretty cool watching how fast they adapted and changed, especially those that have no technology. So if you're around a yogi or a yoga studio, they don't do a lot of whole technology. But being able to figure that out has been pretty cool to watch.
And then even from our end, for the last year and a half, we've been moving a lot more towards video chat with our clients. Because our clients are spread out through the U.S., we can't always do face-to-face.
Yeah.
But now even the folks that are local, we're doing videos, and it's freeing up more time for everybody. Yeah. There's not that travel time in there. There's not whatever. So that's been kind of cool to, at least we were ahead of that curve in that we were preparing everything for this point, I guess.
Yeah.
We've got our camera setups and stuff like that. So anyway... Hey,
okay.
Look at that.
Wow, that's the key hint. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and jump off of here. If you have any questions or you need any guidance, feel free to put it down in the comments. We'll see if we can tune in after hours and so forth. But other than that, we're planning on tuning in back into our original traditional structure next Friday at 1 p.m. Central. So feel free to go ahead and like us. And in the meantime, if you have questions, if you need guidance, reach out. We're here. Thanks, guys. Tune soon.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day now. Thank you.